Samsung might even adopt different processor options for its Galaxy S24 series in different markets. According to a digital chat station who has been quite reliable, the Snapdragon 8 Gen 3 could come at a higher price compared to the predecessor, the Snapdragon 8 Gen 4 Galaxy, which costed Samsung about $160 or so. And this thing might lead Samsung to explore alternative options. In this case, Exynos 2400 SoC. And this is the same exact thing many other companies are gonna do too, according to the leaker. Now, by doing so, Samsung could also potentially equip the base variant of the S24 and S24 Plus with 12GB of RAM, which is a big increase from the 8GB found inside the current S23 series, and equip the base S24 model with a 256GB option rather than 128GB, which is really a big thing. Now, the S24 Ultra might also even be offered in an impressive 16GB of RAM but with the 1TB storage option. Now, if you're thinking what is the specs of the Exynos 2400, well, that's actually going to be crazy this year. It will have 10-core CPU compared to 8-core of the Snapdragon 8 Gen 3. It will have 1+, 2+, 3+, 4 CPU configuration. Well, it will have one Prime Cortex X4 core running at 3.1 GHz, two Cortex A720 cores running at 2.9 GHz, and then there are going to be three more Cortex A720 cores, but they all will be running at lower 2.6 GHz. And then definitely there are going to be A520 cores, the efficiency cores running at 1.8 GHz. That simply means that depending on the need of the apps, the processor can choose what cores to use and what not, and that will save a lot more power because even the performance cores have two different separate groups. On the other hand, the Snapdragon 8 Gen 3 has one Cortex X4 CPU core, 5 Cortex A720 cores, and 2 Cortex A520 cores. But even then, you have to keep in mind that the X4 core, according to ARM, is 15% more powerful than the Cortex X3 core. Plus, the A720 cores are 20% more efficient than the A715. And that's all we should know about it, right? Now, there is another thing. We recently have seen the Geekbench listing of the Snapdragon 8 Gen 3, which shows a 2,233 points in the single-core test and 6,661 points in the multi-core test. And talking about the scores of the Exynos 2400, the highest score, according to a leaker, actually is 1711 in single-core test and multi-core test is 6967. But we're not here to look for that, we're actually here to look for the average score because that's the sustained performance we can kind of say at this point. Well, the multi-core test performance is still really good, but the single-core performance is kind of weak. But then again, we are probably looking at a prototype device at this point. So final device might have a better result or might be the same. Now, here's the thing. In the last video, I told you that the S24 Ultra might come with titanium frame and it will be 1 gram lighter than the current model while still being much more durable and premium looking. But that's S24 Ultra. What about the S24 and Plus? The regular Galaxy S24 models, according to Ice Universe, might have flat sides and actually similar to what the iPhones have currently. Now, other than that, the S24 Ultra and S24 Plus is actually also rumored to come with stacked battery technology. Now, this is something that I have already discussed in my recent video on that. I will link down below. It will actually allow Samsung to have more energy density in the same amount of volume and faster charging. According to recent rumors, the S24 Ultra will still keep the 5000 mAh typical battery capacity, which is not rated battery capacity by the way, but the S24 Plus will actually get a 4900 mAh typical battery capacity, which is a big upgrade over the 4700 of the current S23 model. Now, in terms of charging though, these two devices will actually get the 65-watt fast charging, which technically means that it will be much faster than the 45-watt or the 25-watt fast chargings. A South Korean Minister of Science and ICT actually stated that domestic smartphone industry plans to commercialize a satellite system for 5G mobile devices by 2024. Even the Exynos 2400 SoC supports satellite connectivity. So yeah, we are getting that finally. Now, other than that, there are going to be many new improvements, like the whole S24 series will use M13 panel. This is the first time any phones are using it. Now, this will improve a lot of things, including the brightness and the thickness of the display panel, while still consuming much less power. Other than that, there is also going to be a new 50 megapixel 3x telephoto camera. Now, if you want to know more deeper about these things as well, then definitely check out my recent videos on that. I will link down below. And yes, if you want, you can get some crazy cool wallpapers up on my website. A link down below. Until the next one, bye and take care.